Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about some instrumental music. Look at this new record from Bitchin Bajas entitled Bajascillators. It was released on September 2nd. This is the 11th studio album from the Chicago trio and their follow up to 2021's Switched on Raw. That, a cool tribute record, featured their interpretation of 8 Sun Ra tracks. But if we want to talk about originals, I have to go all the way back to 2017 and their record Bajas Fresh. That's right around the time that I heard of this band. It's tough to ignore that name. It's pretty loud. And being from Tucson, I see the word Baja. I thought that they would have, maybe been from around my neck of the woods, but from Chicago. Cooper Crane, a big part of the krautrock revival in that city. Member of the band Cave, but more of a rockin' outfit there. He's playing guitar there, get the rhythm and grooves out of the way. Bitchin Bajas is a cool project because it teams up with Rob Fry and Daniel Quinlivan, and they get to focus more on the Kosmische side of things. My German is terrible. I apologize if my pronunciation is off there. But yeah, focus more on the psychedelic aspect of electronic music, the avant-garde styles, the layers and textures, but still very much inspired by krautrock, that 60s and 70s German electronic scene. It's a scene that I listen to so much music that's inspired by that movement, but I never go to any bands that were directly on the ground there pushing that movement. And for the life of me, I try to wrap my head around it. I mean, I listen to Kraftwerk a little bit from time to time, and there's some other bands that I have friends that listen to the stuff that I enjoy it when it's on, but I don't go out of my way to listen to it. For some reason, I don't know if it's too experimental. It's just never resonated with me. It's just never hit me the way that all the other music that it's inspired has. It's just a really funny thing, I feel like, in music, and you see it pretty frequently, I feel like. But this band, for that reason, didn't quite catch me. As as the years have gone on, I've listened to this band more. I've gotten more into that style of music, and I really cannot help but think of Sufjan Stevens and Convocations and how experimental that record really was. And I think of the short nature of those compositions and how, I argued in that review that they reflected the disjointed nature of grief and how it can be tough to stay focused, how your mind's kind of all over the place. So what I love about Bitchin Bajas, these compositions really flesh out that atmosphere that they create, and they really allow the listener to get into that spot, to find that meditative space. All these tracks they're at least 10 minutes, so you get 4 songs. It's an interesting package. We'll get into the vinyl layout here in a moment, but what I'm really loving about this record and what's really grabbed me is Rob Fry in particular. There's more of a jazz element to this record than I think any of their past records. That instrumentation is there, the saxophone, the flute, some of this other stuff, but there's something about the textures and layers on Bajascillators that you get that Kosmische ambience. And it's ironic too when you consider the loose nature of jazz music, but I feel like the jazz comes in to give that ambience just a little bit of structure, a little bit of form, and the movement of the compositions is just exceptional. It's so much fun to listen to these songs. And I gotta shout out Rob again. I think that he really is the highlight of this record. But doing some different things with bells on this particular record, that was kind of what reminded me of Sufjan Stevens a little bit. Different electronic feels on this record. Always trying to push themselves, but I definitely would say that the strong jazz influence on Bajascillators makes this record exceptional, and I definitely would give it a listen, even if this isn't your cup of tea. And give it a listen to on a relaxed morning. This is that kind of record. And, cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever your morning routine is, find some time to just, if the weather's nice, maybe sit outside, throw this thing on and just meditate, just relax. That's what I really enjoyed about this record. And, that and a little bit of jazz, like I said, but this thing kicks off with Amorpha. Gorgeous. It's either a xylophone, a vibraphone, but I really just love the tranquil nature of that music. It just creates this great melody. I love the simple jazz driven bass that comes in. Lots of layers and textures that develop throughout this song. It's a great way to open up, and I love the way that this thing it kicks in immediately. It just really goes to work right off the bat and establishes the mood of the song. And I like the way that when you listen to this thing in its entirety, that energy, the way it is going to sort of bookend things, and we'll get to the end of it when I get to your last track. But Geomancy is your second track. It takes on a more mellow feel, like the way that the musical components on this song feature or exhibit more spatiality. It's I don't want to say minimal, but there's just a different timing and not quite as much music put into all that structure. Peaceful ambience in this song. I love the psychedelic, the prog feel of this track. Great saxophone element on this song. It reminded me a lot of Pink Floyd, or even what Radiohead was working with on Kid A. World Be Free, your third track. This is probably my favorite because I love the jazz element on this song. Very mellow. It opens up and I love the ambience. It's very simple, but the music is also very full sounding. There's just great atmosphere that this song creates to open up, and I love the way the beat creeps in. It catches you so off guard, and especially if you really are meditating and zoning off. It's something that crept up on me, and I enjoyed it multiple times as I listened to this thing over and over again. But the music blows up and incorporates just a beautiful jazz element that definitely makes it my favorite. But I love all of these tracks, honestly. Quackenbrook is going to be your final song, and this song picks up the energy a little bit. So I love the way that Amorpha and Quackenbrick kind of act as energetic bookends to Geomancy and World Be Free, two big, more open and, yeah, I guess ethereal and atmospheric composition. But Quackenbrick, much like Amorpha, goes to work pretty fast. It's definitely the most energetic track on the album, and then just this big electro pop feel. It's very different in that regard. I love the percussion on this song. It's just a nice, energetic way to cap off a very dynamic experience. Now, the vinyl package it's a double LP, so you're just going to get one track on each side. And normally this is the kind of thing where if I want that full 22 minutes, but I think that all of these compositions are long enough and structurally are so interesting and so intricate, and they just navigate all these fun twists and turns that I'm gonna vinyl please this thing. I think that depending on your mood as well, you can just throw down whatever side you want, A, B, C, or D. And I think that all four of these songs, they might do I shouldn't say might, they're going to do an excellent job of capturing whatever mood it is you're in, whether you're feeling upbeat, whether you want to mellow out. This is just a great experience, and I might argue their best effort to date. Really, I think tapping into something that's big these days. You're seeing jazz influence so much music, and I'm really keen on that. And I think that element is working perfectly with their sound. So again, we'll vinyl please this thing, and I hope you find this review helpful. Hope you enjoy this record as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.